exciting is this? Australia has a champion once again with Alexander Volkanovski bringing home the featherweight title. Whew, what a day it has been. Great fights today, and there are a few things that I want to talk about, but obviously had to get that out of the way, that Volk is indeed the featherweight champion, broke records, being the first person over 35 to win a title within that division, which is incredible. Came through with so much adversity. And it was a scary fight to watch. That's not to say that Diego put on a great fight. And you guys know I've said time and time again that I am a really big Diego fan, but Volk is the one that got his hand raised. So overall, let's talk about the card. I also feel like I should be changing the colors from green and gold for that Australian vibe. Okay, so first I want to talk about Reyes. Oh my goodness. Now, actually, no. First off, let's talk about my bets. I came through with 1, 2, 3 out of 5 of my picks. The Krylov one was silly. We'll talk about that. And the Yair win, that was really interesting. I expected a lot more from Patricio Pitbull. So, first of all, Reyes. What a great fight. Is the old Reyes back? We're talking John Jones Reyes here, because he is now on a 3-fight win streak with 3 finishes. These aren't just wins that he's getting by with. He's looking really good. And like I've said before, when you are on this win streak and have that momentum, there is this energy that it gives you, which I feel like Reyes has right now. And he said, I believe he wants one more shot before he gets the title. And that's fair enough, because he has been in that title conversation before. But the light heavyweight division has changed a lot since he's last fought for the title. You know, John Jones isn't even there anymore. We've had Alex Pereira's run. So when he talks about wanting one more person before a title shot, I think that's a fair call. Maybe we give him like the winner of Jamal Hill and Khalil Roundtree. I really like that. Or Blachowicz. Him and Blachowicz are quite comparable, I feel. And have they fought before? I feel like he's perhaps lost to Blachowicz. He has. He's lost to Blachowicz. Was his first loss after the John Jones loss, and then lost to Yuri and Ryan Spann. Honestly, losing to Jan and Yuri is not that bad. And then he beat Anthony Smith, Justin Jacoby, and now Krylov. So yeah, I like his call out. Now, when you look at the rankings of light heavyweight, we have, so Reyes was 11th, and he just beat number 8. So above him, we've got Roundtree, Rakic, Blachowicz, Hill, Ulberg, Prohaska, Pereira, and Ankalaev. I'm liking, and I think it will work timing-wise, if he gets the winner of Jamal Khalil, and then he can have a title shot. I really like that for him. I liked Reyes going into this as well. Obviously, I bet against him, but that wasn't to say that I wasn't a fan. I've been rooting for him to have this comeback arc, and it seems like that may be the thing that's going to happen, I hope. So yeah, definitely interested to see that. And then we've got Bryce Mitchell and Jean Silva. Now, Jean put on a great performance. He is such a showman. I can definitely see that it's not for everyone, but when you win, you're kind of allowed to act in any way that you want. So he beat Bryce Mitchell in his own game, which is incredible. I was speaking to quite a few people, and no one had Jean Silva by submission. A lot of people had him by KO or TKO, but not to beat Bryce in his own game with a sub. So Bryce also looked like he got sent into another dimension when Jean let go. But now Jean's beaten someone that is much higher of a caliber that I've said. This was a really big step up for him, and he got that dominant finish. So he called out Diego Lopes, I feel, or he called out, did he call out Diego Lopes, or he wanted a title shot or something like that? I don't think he's quite title shot ready. I wouldn't be surprised if the UFC gave him maybe one fight before a title shot, but looking at the rankings, so he's just beaten Bryce Mitchell, who was number 13. Emmett's just lost. Sterling. No, I think we give Sterling's fun. Ortega. Yeah, Sterling or Ortega, I think, before either a title shot or number one contender spot. We've seen a lot happen within the featherweight division today, so I think there's a bit more that he needs to do before he gets into that title shot conversation, just because now we've had a lot of movement happen there. But again, because the UFC likes him, it wouldn't surprise me if he got that shot next. Also, did anyone see that the Fighting Nerds glasses have gotten a glow up? Like, they have the UFC logo now, and I'm pretty sure you can buy them on UFC store. I think when I was in Brazil and went to their gym, I literally saw the teammates gathering around with their, like, you know, cheap glasses that they bought in bulk, and were taping the middle of them themselves. And now they've gotten a glow up with the UFC logo. I love to see it. I love to see that growth. So that's really cool for them. It's really nice to have been able to follow their story from so early on. And I can't wait to see what's next for them. And I also really appreciate that Jean was saying, like, called out to Ruthie in the crowd like this, the life that this can give you is amazing. So obviously those two are the ones that have had fewer fights in the UFC compared to Caio and Carlos. So it's nice to see that they're starting to get their recognition as well. And I'm really excited to follow along for what's in the future for them. Now, Patricio Pitbull and Yair Rodriguez. I was so disappointed in that fight. I expected so much more from Pitbull coming into this. Not to say that I haven't seen much, but I think there's always a lot of chatter that comes in whenever a new fighter comes into the UFC, and that's just something that I expected from Pitbull. But it was also something that I mentioned, that the UFC is just another level and caliber of, you know, it doesn't matter if you've been a champion here or there, the UFC is just something different. And Yair Rodriguez looked really, really good. People were doubting him as well, saying that he's coming off 2 losses, so they were a bit unsure and questioning him there. But he looked like that Yair that is just super dynamic and stylistic and fun to watch. And Pitbull just wasn't it. It was actually, I was quite disappointed in his UFC debut. I feel like it all went wrong when he didn't walk out to Pitbull. That was a bad sign, you know? It's your first day on the job. You want to make an impression and you don't walk out to Pitbull? What are you doing? So that's definitely what he has to do next time. I'm not sure what's next with Pitbull, but yeah. Definitely. Now, when he won, he called out the winner of Diego and Volk. And Volk obviously won. But I think most people are going to want to see Yair and Diego now, because I think the right thing to happen, it's kind of good that it happened in a way. I think Yair, Diego, and Alex and Moza, right? Unless people start talking about a Diego Volk rematch, but I think that's what we should see. I think it's a fun fight. It makes sense to do it in Mexico. There's a storyline there. I think make Yair and Diego happen. As for the co-main event, oh my gosh, I was screaming to this. Paddy looked so good. I did get nervous because at the start, I feel like the two of them looked really tired really quickly, and I didn't like that. I got really worried. But as the fight got further in, I feel like Paddy grew into it, and he just looked so good. He looked big, he looked strong, and yeah, I just feel like he showed off in a way that has gained many people's respect. The way that Chandler just opened up, like, I feel like Chandler has got that Nate Diaz skin now, that it's just half scar tissue, and he just opens up so quickly. He was bleeding and wet, but like, ugh. Again, always puts on a great performance, Chandler does, but I love seeing Paddy win in that dominant of a fashion. And it was really, really enjoyable to watch this fight week as well. I personally would love to see an Arman or Oliveira. I do believe he called out anyone within the top 5, which I love for him. And I think that division is full of so many great fighters. But Arman and Oliveira to me make the most sense in terms of ranks, but in terms of also stylistically, you know, those are great ground guys, and that's where Paddy likes to be and challenge himself as well. And that's where a lot of people, though it's his strength, it's where a lot of people doubt him. So why not put him against one of these guys? Yeah, I think I really want to see an Oliveira or an Arman. And then, oh my gosh, we get to the main event. I might chuck in a few of my reactions here. I don't want Diego to get knocked out. Oh my God!
Well, the first 3 rounds.
Yeah!
Kerry needs some glasses.
We're going back, baby!
49, 46, 49, 46. So he won 4 rounds to 1.
Oh,
I think he won 3 rounds.
I felt so sick watching this fight. And I said, I knew that I was going to be screaming, crying. I definitely did both. I had a headache the whole time. It was so stressful. Every MMA fan knows that watching 2 fighters that you love go against each other is like the worst thing ever. I've only come close to experiencing it really with Alex Pereira and Yuri Prohaska. That was probably worse because it tends to feel a lot more intense when it's the bigger guys just because of the weight that they throw. But I was a lot more... It was a different kind of intensity. It was weird. It was like Volk would throw and land one on Diego and I would scream like no, but then I would also scream like yes, because that would mean that he was winning. It was just all very emotionally confusing. But at the end of the day, the 2 put on such a great fight. I do feel though that Diego's got a bit of an attitude. What did you guys think? Because obviously we saw him kick off during the press conference, but in that last round when he was getting a bit back chatty and like screaming and frustrated, and obviously the 2 had great respect for each other and that didn't seem to affect anything, but I definitely think this fight week overall, we've definitely seen another side to Diego, that there is a slightly more aggressive person than we'd ever seen in the past. We were used to seeing this very sweet guy, which we love, but at the end of the day, you know, they are all fighters, and I'm sure that they've all got that little bit of extra oomph and aggression in him, which we definitely saw this week. I believe it was like, to me, I think it was 3-2 to Volk. Volk having won the first 3 and then lost the last 2. The last one, it was just, I think Diego won the 4th round. The last one perhaps wasn't as dominant, but I don't think that Volk did enough there. So where do those 2 go from here? I do think that, like I said, Diego should call out Yair. I don't think he said much. He just said that he would be back. I also haven't watched the post-fight press conference yet, so this is just purely based off of the fights. I love Diego Yair. I love Volk Movza. It makes sense wherever that may be. We love to see it. A great fight night from the UFC once again. And then we've got another 2 weeks of great fight nights as well, which is really fun, with Ian Gary, Carlos Prates, and then Figgy and Sanhagen. You guys know I am forever a Figgy fangirl. And then UFC 315, which is really fun. I think I'm going to do like a pub series. I think I'm going to start going out for UFC events a little bit more and kind of do like a pub review, going to different pubs around Melbourne or even around the world when I'm traveling and seeing what the UFC fan experience is like when I go out. So finding a pub, seeing what the viewing experience is like in terms of the screens, the sound, the food, the drinks, the pricing, the environment. I think I'm going to do something like that for 315. That's what I have in my head for an idea. But yeah, otherwise I will see you guys next week. I've got no idea what kind of content that may be. Like I said, this channel, I'm just figuring it out as I go, and whoever likes it can jump on with me on this journey. But yes, very excited. Volkanovski is our featherweight champion once again. Congratulations. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, all the good stuff, and follow me on my other socials.